Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Thank you for being an awesome pledge hammer on Patreon, Ben. Hey now, you're a rock star. Haley. Enjoy having that song stuck in your head for the rest of the day. Did WWE just botch the Roman Reigns Attacker storyline? Buddy Murphy has another great match, and WWE pull a Becky Lynch on Kevin Owens by having him apologize to Shane McMahon. Well, it was fun while it lasted. And what's the future of NXT now is heading to the USA Network? Click the timestamps down below to jump to any of those stories. And leave a comment down below to answer today's question of the day. Should Kevin Owens have apologized to Shane McMahon? And make sure you vote in the poll above my head to let me know what you thought of the show, where you can choose from Smacknificent, Smacktastic, Smack Bang in the Middle, Smackdowner, and a smack in the face. This is the 19th of August. 2019 edition of SmackDown Live. Randy Orton opened the show this week, cutting a promo on Kofi Kingston and his attack on him on Monday's Raw. Orton felt so rejuvenated in this promo, sounding like he cared about the feud and making the Raw beatdown seem as real as possible, even ad-libbing with the crowd by telling them to shut up. New Day's music hit and Kofi hit a Trouble in Paradise from out of nowhere on Randy Orton, and then laid out the revival with chair shots after threatening to Pillmanize Randy's leg. This was a really solid opening to the show. Kofi looked great, Orton sold the surprise brilliantly, and the revival are super effective in this new role. I was a big fan of this. After recapping that NXT will be airing live on the USA Network next month, which I'm sure was the plan all along, we got a backstage segment with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon where Owens begged Shane to rescind his $100,000 fine from last week. Ooh, what a badass asking the boss for mercy. King of the Ring first round action continued as Andrade took on Apollo Crews. It was all decent stuff, and Apollo got a good showing before Zelina Vega interfered and allowed Andrade to hit the Hammerlock DDT for the win. Then our show-long storyline began, with Daniel Bryan and Rowan guiding someone under a cloak who was supposedly the man who attacked Roman Reigns. That's not Vince McMahon, is it? And this cloak man was shown multiple times throughout the show, setting us all up for the eventual disappointment. Because as has been famously said in wrestling, if it's under a blanket or inside an egg, it's going to suck. Elias revealed to a hiding Drake Maverick that the 24/7 title rules were being suspended by Shane McMahon, and then we got a moment of bliss with Charlotte Flair. Let me recap this segment with impressions. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Nonsense, nonsense, terrible writing, and wooden delivery. Oh, and Alexa Bliss is a heel on this show for those who are trying to keep track. Bayley came out to try and save the segment, accepting Charlotte Flair's challenge for a SmackDown Women's Championship match at Clash of Champions. Oh goody, another Charlotte Flair title match. Asuka and Kairi Sane are right there! Bayley then pushed Flair's chair over. It was a segment. Buddy Murphy was getting ready backstage and was approached by Roman Reigns, who wanted to make sure that Buddy wasn't lying when he fingered Rowan. Wait. And this led to Buddy Murphy's second great match in as many weeks as he took on Daniel Bryan in a terrific little TV match. There was a lot of back and forth throughout, and Daniel Bryan did everything he could to make Murphy look awesome. Even the commentators did a good job of getting him over, which certainly helped when Buddy hit Murphy's Law to pin former WWE champion Daniel Bryan. He didn't get a surprise roll-up and looked shocked because of it. He hit his move and won convincingly, even taking out Rowan, who tried to interfere. A big thumbs up for all of this. Kayla Braxton tried to interview Murphy backstage, but he was attacked and laid out by Daniel Bryan and Rowan. The Revival sold their injuries at the hands of Kofi Kingston earlier in the night as they came out for their match with Heavy Machinery. What a bunch of marks, eh, Seth? They challenged New Day to a SmackDown Tag title match at Clash of Champions, and then beat Heavy Machinery with a roll-up. Chad Gable cut a promo backstage about being the underdog in the King of the Ring, while Shelton Benjamin put a sign on the locker room door that made fun of Gable's height. We then got our second talk show segment of the evening as Miz hosted a Miz TV with Sami Zayn. Sami pointed out that he's lost a lot since coming back from injury after WrestleMania, and he's using this lack of momentum to become a manager. a manager to Shinsuke Nakamura. What an odd pairing. Just imagine having someone as talented in ring as Sami Zayn and making him a manager. And the only reason you've done it is because Nakamura is Japanese. Sami is the male page. They both laid out Miz, which one would assume would set up a title match for Clash of Champions. Poor Prince Ali. And then Kevin Owens was backstage with Shane McMahon and apologized for putting his hands on Elias at SummerSlam so Shane wouldn't fine him $100,000. What is it with this company and having their badass Stone Cold-like baby faces apologizing to McMahons? This is totally out of character for KO, and he looked like a complete dork. Only worse when he was then screwed out of the King of the Ring tournament when Shane made himself a referee and fast counted Elias pinning him. I cannot believe this company has taken someone as hot as Kevin Owens and made him look like a complete chump. Maybe Eric Bischoff is writing this show. To make matters worse, we didn't even get a chance to have the loss sink in, as we immediately cut backstage so Roman Reigns could see who it was that attacked him, and it was Rowan's doppelganger. I'm seeing double. 4 Rowans! So essentially SmackDown ended this week as a Spider-Man meme. And then all 4 of them just stood or sat around in complete silence. No one was acting, no one said a word, they just stood there for an uncomfortably long amount of time. This was such a weird ending to the show. You could hear people laughing at it. If your reveal was going to be a joke, don't end the show on it. This wasn't a cliffhanger, this was a storyline falling off a cliff. Aside from the opening angle and Buddy Murphy versus Daniel Bryan, there was little to enjoy about this week's SmackDown. Worse still, they've taken 2 of the hottest things in WWE, Kevin Owens and the Roman Reigns attacker storyline, and turned one of them into a joke and made the other look stupid. I'll let you decide which one is which. And has anyone noticed there's been a lack of women's wrestling since Ronda Rousey left? It's almost as if their women's revolution was just an insincere PR ploy for investors and the press. This week's SmackDown Live is a SmackDowner. I'll give it a high SmackDowner because Buddy Murphy's great. And now, over to Pete Quinnell with the news.
Top dollar review, Luke. Now let's dive into the newsy news. Newsy news? Cody Rhodes always seems to aim to be a positive person when it comes to Twitter, often seen tweeting words of positivity and encouragement. However, one of these tweets seems to have caught the attention of one CM Punk. Cut shitty people out of your life and work. Life is too short. In a now deleted tweet, CM Punk responded with that one gif of Cody with his hand to his ear while the camera zooms in. You know the one. This could of course mean absolutely nothing, but it could mean... Switching back to WWE now though, and it was reported earlier this week that Vince McMahon would not be in attendance for Raw or SmackDown this week, though it was not confirmed the reason why. In his stead, Triple H, Paul Heyman, and Kevin Dunn sat at the big boys table and ran Raw, with seemingly a similar lineup, probably without Paul Heyman though, for SmackDown as well. The reason for his absence has now been revealed, as reported by Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio. So Vince wasn't at the show tonight. He's not going to be at the show tomorrow night because he's getting ready for the XFL announcement on Wednesday. They're going to announce all the coaches and all the teams and things like that, so he'll be busy with that. With another very solid week of WWE programming under their belt, they seem to be on the rise, at least in terms of quality of the shows. Apart from last night's SmackDown. Let's hope Vince McMahon has more XFL commitments in the future then, shall we? It is worth noting, however, that Meltzer went on to note that while Vince wasn't there in person, he would most likely still be running the show, just by phone instead. But now we get on to the biggest announcement of the week, and that's NXT moving to the USA Network as of September 18th for absolutely no reason other than to draw more viewers and make more money. It's clear NXT just outgrew the WWE Network and TV was the logical next step. There's no other wrestling promotions to compete with or anything of that nature. With the announcement has come all sorts of rumor and speculation, with some slightly more feasible than others. One such tidbit surrounds the future of 205 Live, because while NXT will be broadcast on the USA Network on Wednesday nights, it will be available on the WWE Network the day after on Thursday nights. Does this mean 205 Live will move to the Wednesday night slot on the network to fill the gap? Well, it might be even worse news for the Purple brand, according to Meltzer, as he thinks it may be scrapped. It may mean 205 Live Live goes to WWE Network, although a lot of people think 205 Live is going to disappear, and it probably should, because talk about a failed experiment, that's a failed experiment. Considering NXT will now be a 2-hour show, perhaps 205 Live will merge with the NXT roster to help fill out the extra time. The subject of the competition of NXT moving to TV, AEW, have seemingly responded to this news via Chris Jericho, of course. He tweeted to say, "Congrats to NXT for making the big move to the USA Network. Runners always race faster when somebody is right behind them. Gonna be fun to see which team the world decides to join. Hashtag Choose Jericho." AEW's official Instagram page then posted a picture of this tweet, seemingly endorsing Jericho's tweet as a de facto official statement on the matter. October is certainly shaping up to be an interesting month for pro wrestling. One of the big concerns many fans had surrounding this next step for NXT is that now it would be on TV, Vince McMahon would most likely get his hands stuck in and help run the show, which is one of the reasons NXT has flourished like it has, with the distinct feel of the brand being completely different to something like a Raw or Smackdown. However, fans of NXT can reportedly rest easy, as Pro Wrestling Sheet have sources telling them the product will remain exactly the same. Sources tell us, despite speculation, the current plan is for NXT to remain as the same show it's been for years. Bottom line, if you're worried about losing the work rate heavy product that's been spearheaded by Triple H for years, don't be. It's worth noting that there will undoubtedly be some changes to the show. Now being broadcast live with no tapings, it prevents them writing 4 or more weeks of story in advance, and with 2 hours to fill instead of 1, perhaps the talent may not be cycled in and out as much as we see on the 1-hour version. However, if Triple H is still the one in charge, it bodes well for the brand to thrive under this new format too. Once again, I'm very excited for October. Spider-Man is out of the MCU. What's really going on with Sony and Disney? Ollie and Laurie are going through all the details on today's episode of Screen Stalker. Click the video on screen now to be taken over there right now. But before you go, press the thumbs up, subscribe, and bell icon to enable notifications, and leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of SmackDown. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chopper Pete Quinnell, and that was wrestling.